China's economy continues to decline, and this has spread to the real estate industry, even in Beijing, the political center of the CCP, where the real estate market is facing a dire situation. A condo worth $184,000 is now selling for almost $50,000. Yeah, that's a huge loss. After speculators around Beijing ran away, house prices continued to fall. A condo worth $184,000 is now selling for almost $50,000. House prices around Beijing have already dropped again and again. You probably won't believe the price of this condo. Over 100 square meters is now selling for $54,000, and the finishes are even free. It cost over $100,000 when he bought it, and he did the finishes. He didn't even live there after it was finished. His property speculation failed, so he has to sell. He asked me to come and help him film it. The property market around Beijing has cooled down significantly. People bought there in 2016 following the trend at $1,700 to $1,800 per square meter. Now it's down to around $400 per square meter, including finishes. Let's take a look at this site today. Was this something from those speculators who jumped on the property bandwagon back then? Yes, back then it was over $1,000 per square meter. A condo was over $100,000. How much is it now? A little over $50,000. This is considered a failed investment, right? It was a failure, a huge failure, over $100,000 gone. Mid-priced houses are falling in price. Previously, high-priced houses are lowering their prices to cut losses too. I lost $566,000 in half a year. You heard me right. It's this condo behind me. A 206 square meter apartment in Guangzhou Jinmao Mansion. Half a year ago, a client offered $3.112 million, but the owner didn't sell. Now the owner is in a hurry to sell with a reserve price of $2.546 million. $2.546 million. Brother, $566,000 gone in half a year. It's right next to Hobson 1 on the East 4th Ring Road in Guangzhou Jinmao Mansion. Netizens commented, with this economic situation, it'll keep falling. Lost a villa. How many kilograms of gold is that? It feels worthless. Why would someone have that much money to suffer in Beijing breathing smog? Are you going to buy villas near Beijing again today? Is this the villa you're selling? Yes. How much did you pay for it? Over $1 million. Over $1 million, this kind of small villa, a small detached house, right? Yes, a detached villa, it all has a yard. Is the yard big? The yard is 300 or 400 square meters. This is the living room, right? Yes, this is the kind of a small living room. A small living room, then there are windows on both sides, and this side leads to the garden. Yes, this is a small terrace. In Beijing, a house like this might cost over $1 million, but in this situation, you can get it for $400,000 or $500,000. In 2021, a young homeowner bought a 55 square meter apartment in Wangjing for $658,000 and lost $320,000. This residential complex is considered quite good in Wangjing. It's developed by a state-owned enterprise and the environment is quite nice. There's a children's playground in the middle row. This is a living room and inside is a bedroom. This is an east-facing one-bedroom condo. There's a small window here letting in some sunlight. This is the bedroom. It's more suitable for young people. It costs $658,000. $658,000? Yes. Now you've lost at least $280,000. Yes, I've already lost over $280,000. So have you decided to sell now? I've decided. I've made up my mind. The homeowner stated that he realized his problems through the process of being constantly educated by the market. At this point, the real estate agent blurted out, "It's not your problem, it's the market's problem." The agent suggested a selling price of $338,000, stating that the homeowner had lost $320,000, and also pointed out that the current housing price has returned to 2015 levels. The real data for Beijing's housing market in November 2025 is out, and the divergence is really severe. New home sales have declined sharply, while the resale home sales have increased month on month, but prices are still falling. On December 1st, 2025, according to online transaction data released by the Beijing Municipal Commission of Housing and Urban Rural Development, a total of 6,292 new units were sold in Beijing in November, while the total number of new residential units sold was 2,414, a decrease of 31.25% month-on-month and 50.61% year-on-year. The cumulative transaction volume of second-hand homes in November was 16,217 units, of which 14,446 were residential units. This represents a 19.52% increase month-on-month compared to October's 12,100 units, but a 23.0% decrease year-on-year. On December 6, Beijing's online contract signing volume exploded. 197 second-hand homes were signed online that day, including 177 residential units. 78 new residential homes were signed online. The cumulative number of new residential home signings in December was 518 units. The cumulative number of second-hand home signings in December was 3,232 units, including 2,835 residential units. House prices in Beijing are really changing every day. Last year, the price per square meter in this complex was $17,000. At the beginning of this year, houses sold for over $14,000 per square meter, and now the price has dropped to over $11,000 per square meter. Is it worth buying now? There's a 4-bedroom apartment that the owner is very eager to sell, priced at only over $11,000 per square meter. The complex was built in 2014 with separate pedestrian and vehicle access, located in the Tiankun area of Haidian district west of the 4th Ring Road. This is the first unit to be put on the market in over 10 years since the project opened. Regarding the real estate agent's lament about the constantly changing house prices, some netizens commented, "The price changes every day, so I'll wait another day." Entering December, the prices of some properties in Beijing have become ridiculously low. Especially for those older properties from before 2023, the prices are shockingly low as they try to clear out inventory quickly to meet annual targets. In Chaoyang district, many properties have lowered their prices to clear inventory. First, there's the Wangjing area near the East 5th Ring Road. The current prices are already at the level of Tongzhou outside the 5th Ring Road, which is already at a similar level. Especially in areas like Shang Phase 2 and Wangjing, 155 square meter and 170 square meter 4-bedroom condos are now priced at less than $8,062 per square meter. Nearby in Zhonglib, Dongyu Mansion, a 122 square meter 3-bedroom condo is priced at less than $7,921 per square meter, plus a parking space, and the price is negotiable. The blogger points out that the 3 properties in the area next to Wangjing are already cheaper than some second-hand homes in the Wangjing area. A 170 square meter 4-bedroom condo in Guangyu Mansion is priced at less than $8,911 per square meter, and a 482 square meter condo in Wangjing Longyu will be priced at only $2,970 per square meter next month. Moreover, all have fully finished, ready-to-move-in condos in this area, which were originally priced at $11,315 per square meter. A blogger points out that in November 2025, Beijing's second-hand housing prices fell by 1.44% month-on-month and 6.08% year-on-year.
11月份环比和同比的跌幅
Looking at the data on the right, the month-on-month and year-on-year declines in Beijing's second-hand housing prices both widened in November, indicating a significant drop. You can look at December last year, the month-on-month decline was only 0.1%. After that, it gradually widened 0.6%, 0.8% to 1.4%.
1.4%上个月抄底的朋友怎么看
The blogger concludes that this year the decline in Beijing's second-hand housing prices has continued to widen, reaching a new low. This also includes the Asian Games Village in Beijing. Some argue that while the Asian Games Village area primarily consists of public housing built in the 1990s and the buildings aren't new, its advantages lie in its prime location, premium school district status, and mature amenities, allowing it to absorb spillover demand from Wangjing and Guomao. However, despite its consistently active second-hand housing market, recent transaction prices in the area have fluctuated significantly, specifically experiencing substantial drops.
安徽北理1元58平米的两居室，
A 58 square meter 2-bedroom condo in Anhui, Beili sold for $345,000 on December 3, 2025, while the same unit sold for $786,000 on April 18, 2021, a decrease of $441,000. A 116 square meter 2-bedroom condo in Jinquan sold for $1.195 million on November 13, 2025, while the same unit sold for $1.663 million on August 28, 2022, a decrease of $468,000 or approximately 28.2%. A 66.33 square meter 2-bedroom apartment in Anhui Li 2nd District sold for $477,000 on October 18th this year, but the same unit sold for $843,000 on April 4th, 2017, a decrease of $366,000 or approximately 43.5%. Housing prices in Yanjiao, Beijing have also declined significantly. The housing prices in Yanjiao have fallen by more than half from their peak. When housing prices in Yanjiao first started to rise in 2009, the price was around $500 to $600 per square meter. By 2016, it had skyrocketed to $5,000 to $6,000 per square meter. Now, the average price of second-hand homes in Yanjiao has fallen to between $1,840 and $2,122 per square meter. Transactions are very sluggish. Just 5 years ago, everyone believed that Yanjiao was your last chance to buy property in Beijing. Getting on board would be a lifesaver, and now it would be too late. At this moment, who still wants to buy in Yanjiao? The blogger points out that the CCP authorities' propaganda back then, buy a property in Yanjiao and you'll be in the CBD in half an hour, quickly becoming part of Beijing, now sounds like a joke. During the real estate boom of 2017, Yanjiao was subject to purchase restrictions. The blogger says that looking back now, it truly seems like a fantasy. Now there are no more purchase restrictions on Yanjiao properties, but people don't want to buy anymore. He poses a poignant question. What about those who bought at high prices back then? Beijing is the political center of the CCP, demonstrating the CCP's emphasis on it. Even so, it hasn't stopped the downward trend in housing prices, and Chinese people's mindset has undergone a fundamental shift. According to Morgan Stanley's AlphaWise's China Real Estate Survey in July 2025, survey shows that among potential homebuyers, a staggering 33% are bearish on housing prices over the next 12 months. 51% are likely to buy a condo, and only 16% are very likely to buy one. Currently, the transaction volume of second-hand homes in Beijing is actually higher than that of new homes, but there are deeper reasons behind this. US-based economist David Huang told overseas Chinese media that many homeowners are rushing to liquidate their properties, and a significant number are busy transferring assets overseas. He believes that the previous view of housing as an investment was wavered, and the rigid demand for housing is shrinking. Therefore, China's real estate market has now transformed from an asset for appreciation and preservation of value to an asset for risk. Huang points out that the Chinese middle class is gradually realizing that spending their entire life savings on real estate may be risky, so they are becoming more cautious. Many middle-class Chinese families are reconsidering their asset allocation, such as increasing their holdings in gold and overseas assets. In core Chinese cities like Shanghai and Beijing, where housing prices had previously risen very sharply, the current market contraction and new round of asset revaluation suggests that peak housing prices in China will likely fall by about 30 to 40%, returning to levels seen around 2014 or 2015. Commentator Wang He analyzed for overseas Chinese media. After Japan's real estate bubble burst, it took 20 years to recover. China's real estate bubble is now even bigger than Japan's because the CCP has adopted strong government control. And the market bubble has not been fully released, it has been released very slowly. Therefore, the situation in China's real estate market is more severe and troublesome than in Japan. He said, now the Beijing authorities have run out of options, they've already exhausted all the policies they could use, and their methods have been wrong. They're not trying to completely lower housing prices, but rather preventing the real estate bubble from being fully released. Even if the real estate bubble were only basically released, housing prices in China would drop by 60% overnight. In that case, the entire Chinese financial system would collapse, and an economic crisis would erupt. The CCP is extremely afraid of this, so it's desperately trying to control the real estate market. Wang He stated, at the end of last year, the CCP was talking about stopping the decline and stabilizing the market, But they haven't mentioned it this year because the policy is simply unenforceable and flawed. It seems that the CCP authorities are completely helpless in controlling the decline of Chinese housing prices and have exhausted all their tricks. The situation in Beijing's real estate market reveals the future direction of the whole country. This has led many Chinese people to no longer consider buying a home as a major life event, and instead, in the face of a deteriorating economy, they are increasingly tightening their purse strings. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.